So welcome everyone this afternoon to our lunchtime webinar. It's Mental Health Awareness Week this week, so we're really pleased to be joined by Debbie from Able Futures, who's going to be taking through this resilience workshop. So without further ado, I'll hand over to you, Debbie.
Amazing. Thank you so much. And hello, everyone. Thank you very much for having me. I hope you've all got your cup of tea ready as well. Please feel free to get comfy and all settled in. So yeah, my name's Debbie Burns, and I've been working for Able Futures for almost 2 years now. I'll be touching upon the resource as well throughout this presentation, but we really just wanted to focus on resilience, the topic of resilience. So October brings us Mental Health Awareness Month. Usually every single year they have different themes, and this year's theme is based on well-being in the workplace. And to be honest, I don't think that you can have resilience or like mental health without resilience. I think resilience is an incredible tool to be utilised and to be worked on and built on, just like a muscle. And hopefully by the end of this presentation, you'll take something away with you and understand ways in which you can help your own resilience and just understand it a bit better. So I'll touch upon what resilience is, and ways in which you can build upon resilience. And then I'll dive into telling you about the Able Futures resource, which I think you're all going to absolutely love, and I think should be in everybody's mental health first aid kits for sure. So, what is resilience? So, in these lovely ticks, resilience is bouncing back, having the ability to recover quickly from difficulties. It's about being positive, even when things don't seem like they're going well. It's about believing in yourself and your goals, not being afraid to make mistakes, being able to handle those tricky situations, trying your best even if you don't think you'll succeed, and never giving up even when things are really tough. Now, it's so easy to read those things off of a screen. They look lovely all lined up with their nice little ticky boxes, but that is so hard to do. Every single one of those ticky boxes will have their own challenges, their own resistance as well in ways. So I just want to state from the get-go, resilience isn't easy. It's really hard. And the majority of the time we're in these situations because something that we didn't want to happen is happening. And we're going to really fight against that. And it feels uncomfortable and not a nice place to be in. But that is exactly what resilience is for, is to keep going. Even when things aren't going the way that we want it to go, it's about knowing that we can get through this, we can persevere. And usually, especially like within my lifetime, it's always worked out for the better. So it's trusting the process and understanding that we are going to go into those valleys every now and then. Life isn't perfect, no matter how much social media loves to plaster it at us that everything needs to be perfect all the time. The valleys are just as important, and the better that we get in feeling comfortable in those valleys and understanding that we've got the tools and resources and that strength to climb back out again, resilience can get easier and easier as life goes along, and those valleys don't seem as dark and as deep. And with these tools and with these ticky boxes as well, you can bounce back out of those valleys a lot quicker. So I've got some examples of resilience, because I think it's very hard to sometimes look outside of ourselves, because I bet you anything, every single person on this call today has got incredible stories of resilience. Life is hard. Life doesn't always work out the way that we want it to go. And I think this is what makes us human. We are so much more similar than we think. And I would absolutely love to sit down with a cup of tea and listen to your stories of resilience. Because we will all be going through it at some point in our lives. I tend to sort of I like to look at celebrities' lives, like I like to look at famous people's lives, not in a way of comparison, but it's really nice because their lives are out there for us to review, even people who are no longer with us anymore, like Thomas Edison. It's nice to look back and review their own private, individual timelines and see the trials and tribulations that they went through throughout their life and the amazing things that came out of it. I mean, Thomas Thomas Edison, for example, his teacher, so from the word go, like words are so powerful, and his teacher wrote a letter to his mum saying that he could no longer come to school anymore because he was too stupid. She didn't want to teach him, she didn't want him in his class. If little Thomas Edison took that on board and believed that narrative that he was stupid, he wouldn't have gone on to then bring us light and invent the light bulb, and illuminate all of our lives and become one of the most amazing, what's the majiggy, inventors of his time. We've also got people like Oprah Winfrey. I love her story. She went through so much in her early childhood, throughout her teens and her 20s as well. She got knockback after knockback. She also had some really tough family problems. She had a lot of abuse that had happened to her, but nothing like stopped her empathy. Nothing stopped her wanting to really make a difference in life. And then she ended up getting her own show, but she got many a knockback before she got there. It's the same as J.K. Rowling. Harry Potter, she sent that to 32 different publishers, and each one of them knocked her back and said, no, sorry, we're not interested in that. But she kept persevering because she believed in herself, and look at where she is today. I absolutely love looking back on these people's lives to remind myself that even though it feels dark and it feels like a hard time at the moment, it will get better, it will improve, and what is meant to happen for me will happen. So there are loads of ways in which that we can build resilience, and you don't have to build it on your own as well. I think number 5 on this list is one of my favorite ones. So we can build resilience, like our resilience muscles, by practicing resilience. It's a choice that we choose to do every single day. We have to be aware of our mind talk. We have to build our self-awareness up so that we can understand the narratives that we're telling ourselves. Is this helpful? Is this helpful or hindering me? Just be so much more aware of that narrative. Your habits of behavior as well can really contribute into building resilience, that resilience muscle. I had my resilience that I did throughout my life is I had ridiculously bad relationships. I've been very, very unlucky in love. And the thing is I could have easily just given up. I could become a very sinister person and not love anymore and not have my empathy. But I chose not to do that because I do believe that love is out there, and I've just got to practice building that muscle to build trust within myself and to get rid of those narratives where I feel like, oh, that there's no one out there for me. If I have limiting beliefs and if I continue with that narrative, I'm just never going to get anywhere in life and I'm never going to meet people. So being aware of your narrative and being aware of your habits of behavior is so, so important into building resilience. Being positive. This is quite a tough one because it is so hard to be positive when you're faced in your valley, like when you're faced with trials and tribulations. A lot of the time it's so easy to slip into those, why me, why is this happening to me, this always happens, again going back to that narrative. So understanding the positive within that situation, even if it is incredibly hurtful and is causing us a lot of emotional distress, it's so important to realize, like, really ground your feet and say, well, what have I got? What, instead of focusing on the lack, let's focus on the things that I do have in my life. So I may not have found the perfect man, but I have incredible friends. I have friends who love me to pieces. I have amazing family, and those are the things that I will focus on instead of what I'm lacking in life. Reminding yourself of all the things that you're good at as well. It is so vital to be your own best friend. If you're going to rip yourself apart, then the world is going to rip you apart. Like, as soon as you can build that mentality where you've got your own back, you know what you're good at, you know all your amazing traits and things like that, because you definitely have them. And to keep reminding yourself of those things can definitely help build that resilience muscle. It's also important to be brave and try new things. I think from what I've learned in life is change is inevitable. Change is the only consistent thing that happens in life. Life is consistently changing, situations evolve, things keep changing. And I think the more that you can understand that and the more that you can accept that change as well, that can help with your resilience. And it's that bravery to know that, okay, things are changing. I feel quite uncomfortable right now. I'm really nervous and anxious of the unknown, but I'm going to be strong. I'm going to be brave. And I'm going to know that whatever happens and whatever faces me, I'm going to be all right at the end of it. And the thing is everything that I've spoken about and the things that I've done for myself, I couldn't have done that on my own. I asked for help 5 years ago. I had depression, and it was terrifying. I had no idea what was going on with myself. Um, I was just turning into a completely different Debbie, and I was just kind of accepting that that was the new me, but it wasn't. And as soon as I got that bravery and asked for help, it completely changed my life around for the better, because all of the tools about listening to my narratives, changing my habits of behavior, being kind to myself, and feeling brave and embracing the unknown, I didn't know how to do those things. It wasn't until I actually joined the Able Futures program 5 years ago where I started learning those things, and my coach started planting those amazing seeds that have turned into oak trees now, because I'm consistently using that information that they told me about every day to be stronger and be more resilient. So, how to build resilience? Goal setting, I think, is a fantastic method of resilience because it's future based. I think when we get into ruts, when we're in our sort of dark spaces, we can very much focus a lot on the past, like what has happened, why has that happened? I didn't want that to happen. I want things to change. Whereas if you're focusing on goal setting, it's very much, it brings your focus to the present. What can I do right here, right now, this second, to make myself feel better, to help my emotions in what they're dealing with right now? But also, where do I want to be in a month's time, in 2 months' time, in a year's time? Where would I like to see myself, and what version of myself would I like to be? So instead of staying in that, I hate using the term, but my friend, when I was in my really, really darkest time, she even said to me, "Get out of that pity party for one, Debs." And that visual of me just sitting at a table on my own with a really silly party hat on, thoroughly enjoying my pity party for one, I was like, do you know what? You're so right. Like, I could sit at this table for a very, very long time, but where's that going to get me? Absolutely nowhere. So let me have a look at what steps I can start taking to get out of that pity party for one, and to start moving forward. That's going to really help benefit my life and make me become the person that I would really like to be. So goal setting in itself, super, super powerful. Self-care is another way of building resilience, because you're looking after yourself. You're treating yourself like your best friend. If you're not feeling great, you don't want to tell yourself you're not feeling great and to put yourself down anymore. So why don't you be kind to yourself? Go out for a nice walk, read your favorite book, treat yourself to your favorite meal, or even have a shower. As like when I had depression, I found it even hard to get up and motivated and out of bed. But having a shower was just the best thing that I could have done in that day to make myself feel better and to feel like I've been productive in some way, shape, or form. So self-care doesn't have to be massive, big spa trips or holidays away for yourself. It can be the little things like listening to your favorite song, or writing, doing a bit of journaling, or for me, even making a cup of tea is one of my most favorite comfort things that I can do for myself. And it's a mindful thing, like I'm actively just focusing on boiling that kettle, putting that tea bag in, and then sitting there with my cup of tea, listening to my favorite podcast, and really just having that 5 minutes of self-care to myself, just to regroup, recenter, and feel comfortable again. Breathing techniques are really good as well. Um, Having a breath. Literally, there is so much power in just taking a breath, pausing, relaxing, focusing on your breathing, that can really calm your nervous system. And also it makes it feel like the world isn't spinning out from underneath you. Like it doesn't feel so overwhelming. You can take that minute back to yourself, have a breath, and regroup, and then focus on that task at hand. Having a growth mindset, I think, like I've covered this in the sense of really being mindful of those narratives. How do you talk to yourself? How do you view situations? If you are constantly telling yourself you can't do something, I promise you, you won't be able to do it. If you're constantly saying, oh, I wouldn't be able to do that, or no, that I can't do that in my lifetime, you really won't. As soon as you change that mindset into a growth mindset, even if it's along the lines of, do you know what, I'm quite scared to do that, but I'm going to give it a go. Like it doesn't have to be completely perfect in the sense like, yeah, I can do that. I've got that. I can do that really well. Doesn't have to be like that at all. It can be, do you know what, it's going to take me some time to get there, but I know that I will get there if I take it a step and a day at a time. And that moves quite nicely into positive self-talk. That is the biggest thing that Able Futures taught me, is how to start positively talking to myself and really catching myself when that little inner saboteur starts poking their horrible head up and bringing in that self-doubt, making me feel overwhelmed, making me feel worried, overthinking. Oh my goodness, the amount of overthinking that I did, I probably wasted a year of my life doing it. It's so powerful, just understanding how you speak to yourself. And that is an incredible tool in building resilience. Is if you've had a knockback, that is absolutely okay. You are not on anybody else's timeline but your own, and everything that is happening for a reason, and you are exactly where you are meant to be. So trust the process and keep talking to yourself positively, and know that you are going to get over this situation. And last but definitely not least, seeking support. I really think that if I asked for help a lot sooner, I wouldn't have got depression. I think because I was so busy living in these bad habits of behavior, having these bad narratives, it just got me to that point where my body said, no more, Debbie. We cannot be like this or do this any longer. And I really am a big advocate in talking about mental health. I really hope that there definitely are stigmas and things like that still going on in life, but I'm making it my own personal goal to cut through those stigmas, because we are all human at the end of the day. And trust me, if everybody today just spoke about one thing that they've struggled with in life, I guarantee you we've all been through something similar or along the same lines. Like, we are all human at the end of the day, and a problem shared is really a problem halved. As soon as I started talking about how I was feeling and talking about the habits of behavior that I was doing, the more conversations I was having with people who turned light bulbs on in my head. They were literally like, oh, Debs, you've been doing this. Have you ever thought about doing this instead? And I was like, oh my, it was as if the fog had cleared, and these ideas and different ways of living just came flooding in, and it was lovely, and it's made me so passionate about mental health, because it's the consistent thing to be doing. Like, you can't just get brilliant at mental health. Like, it's a tool and a muscle to be constantly worked at and sharpened, and it's lovely just having that journey of learning about yourself. So this is where I'm going to sort of bring in Able Futures to tell you about this service, because I didn't even know it existed 5 years ago. I think there's very much this word association where people think mental health and counselling is the only option. But my mental health journey taught me two very important things. Number one being that timing is everything. And also, not one size fits all. We are all very different people, and we all have different things that would turn that light bulb moment on. Sometimes it's having a chat with a stranger at a bus stop. Other times it's speaking with a best friend or a family member. But there are loads of different ways in which you can get support, and there's loads of different therapies out there. I didn't even know that this style of therapy existed. I very much I went down the counselling route, and counselling just really wasn't for me. I would never knock counselling, because this is it. Whatever's going to be best for that person is absolutely fabulous. But the thing is with me is counselling very did much focus on the past. It was about my past traumas. It was about past events that had happened. And at that time in my life, I didn't want to go back there. Like I didn't want to be and relive those situations again. And I found it quite intrusive. And it just wasn't a style of therapy that was bettering me at that time. And then my friend told me about Able Futures, and I was very, very skeptical at first. But then when I got onto the program and I understood the style of therapy, it was absolutely fabulous. So all of the mental health coaches who work on Able Futures are all fully trained counsellors. So you're getting a very, very high quality program with professionals in the mental health field. But Able Futures is more about life coaching and wellness coaching. So it's all about focusing on the present, how you're feeling right now, as and when these feelings come up, that resilience building, like when you need to like put those resilient skills in action. And because it's a 9-month long program, you've got that longevity as well to really make life changes, like make a difference within that 9 months. So before I dive in, Able Futures is completely free. It's a totally no cost resource for employers to share with their employees, or for individuals to use and sign up to as well. I would also say please feel free to share with your friends and family members. It really is a mental health resource to be shared with people. So they say that 1 in 4 people will experience mental health each year. I don't believe that statistic at all. I think it's everybody. Everyone on some shape or form or spectrum will be experiencing mental health, whether it's through the things that I used to do, like overthinking, over worrying, having an inner saboteur, comparison as well. Like with social media, it's so easy to compare yourself to other people's and other people's timelines. But also it can be things like anxiety and depression as well. Like there is so much that we experience in life, and that could be through relationship issues, family issues, worrying about the finances. God, it's terrible out there at the moment. People going through the menopause, worrying about health issues, worrying about a best friend. Like there are so many things that happen to us in life that I don't see how it can't affect us in some way. We all have brains, we all have emotions, and that's just what mental health is. It is just knowing that your mind needs to be looked after just as much as your body does. So here we have like the differences between counselling and coaching. So counselling very much focuses on the past, and this style of coaching very much focuses on the now and the future. So what Able Futures wants to do is for you to work with a coach on a one-to-one basis. You'll have the same coach whilst you're on Able Futures as well. So please feel free to switch coaches if you'd like to. We're all human at the end of the day, and we don't necessarily click and gel with people straight away. And I really, really think that if you get the right coach that suits you, it will make your journey incredible. And this is it with your coach. You'll be having those sessions where it's you can even meet with your coach over the phone, you can meet them over Teams, or we also do face-to-face meetups as well. And when I first joined Able Futures, that was the option that I went for. And I really liked it because instead of going to your doctor's surgery or telling every Tom, Dick and Harry how you're feeling, or going to like a clinical practice, you meet up in coffee shops with your Able Futures coach. So you literally have a lovely cup of tea, which again is like one of my self-care things that I like to do, and just spill the tea. Just tell them how you're feeling, and just have your cup filled back up again. They're taking the time to listen to you, to encourage you, to motivate you, and to help you build these amazing tools so that you can get out of those valleys a lot quicker and build up that resilience. So All of our mental health coaches, as I said, are fully trained professionals. It is a one-to-one basis, and it's all completely free. And it's a 9-month program. I wouldn't let the 9 months put you off either. That 9 months is a non-intrusive 9 months. So say you've been on the program for 4 months and you feel much better, you can go on program breaks, or you can just ask for like a text message or an email check-in as well. You can also change your wellbeing plan at any time. So if you've come onto the program because you're worried about finances, and then sadly a few months down the line you're dealing with a grief that has happened within your family, we can adapt your wellbeing plan that's going to suit you to get, so make sure that you're getting the most out of your experience at Able Futures. So the eligibility for Able Futures. So this is why I say please feel free to to share with friends and family members. So it's for people who are 16 and above and in a form of employment. So that could be anything from startup businesses, self-employment, full-time, part-time work, 0-hour contracts, apprenticeships. If you're on long-term sick or maternity leave, please feel free to come on board. But also, if you're unemployed but you've got a job start date, come on board the program also. So you could come on board if you've got if you've got diagnosed or undiagnosed mental health needs, and also if you've got neurodiverse needs, come on board the program. With the neurodiverse needs, we actually have a special app designed to help you overcome or just understand your neurodiverse need a lot better and understand your strengths and weaknesses. But we can't diagnose a neurodiverse need, but we can definitely help with the mental health side of things, such as like I've got ADHD, and sometimes I feel a bit like overwhelmed with organizational skills. My coach could help me focus on organizational tools and techniques, which will have a ripple effect and help me whenever I feel a bit overwhelmed with my organizational skills. So with Able Futures as well, it says that we are for mild to moderate mental health support. And what that means is we're not a crisis service, but we would never ever leave people in crisis. We've got loads of resources that we can signpost people to like immediate support in their area. But we also have this open door policy. So when you are feeling a bit brighter, please feel free to come back and try the support. As well as this, one of the main eligibility criteria that they state is because Able Futures is funded by the Department of Work and Pensions, they say that your mental health needs to be affecting work in some way. But I always say to people, just say yes, because how can life be happening to you and it not have an impact in all of the other aspects of life? So even if you are having relationship, family, financial issues, and you're still getting up and going to work every day, I'm sure that your mind is elsewhere and you've got a bit of presenteeism where you may be going to work every day, but you don't have to be struggling with that load and that stress yourself. So absolutely, whenever you sign up to Able Futures and they ask you, is it affecting work, please say yes, because I guarantee it would be in some way, shape or form. So we also have a few new apps. So when you join Able Futures, you have a 24 access to the Ellie Hub. It's very, very similar to Netflix. So where Netflix has like films and movies that you can just pick and choose from, the Ellie Hub has everything that you need well-being wise. So it's got videos, workshops, podcasts, it's got materials and PDF documents that you can download. So when you're not having your coaching sessions, feel free to use the app as and when you need it. There is so much to explore on there that can help you with, again, any form of stress or any topic. It is on the Ellie app. And this is the Do It Profiler. So for those of you who would like assistance with your neurodiverse need, this is the app that you can go to. So when signing up to the program, so timing is very important to me. And when I first signed up to Able Futures, I was shocked at how quickly I started getting support. So Able Futures has no waiting lists. So you will be signed up with your mental health coach within 30 days. That's our KPIs. That's our promise to everybody, that within 30 days you will get signed up with support. The way in which you do this is all self-referral. So you don't have to go to your doctor. All you have to do is sign up online or give us a call, and the contact centre will ask you some of the eligibility questions, ask you a few questions about what you'd like to work on at the programme. You could say as much or little as you like here, but it's just to help with the process of matching you up with the best coach. You would then be booked in with your coach within the 30 days, and then but it's usually 2 to 3 weeks. I think I waited a week and a half, and I was booked on the program, and then that's you away. That's you starting your journey, and creating your wellness plan with your coach. So here's the ways in which to get signed up. So we've got online, give us a call, drop us an email, and we've got accessibility to everybody. So if you need a certain language, we've got Language Line and British Sign Language interpreters as well. We've got them also. So Able Futures from the 20th of August has now been dedicated to help support small to medium employers. We really feel that small to medium employers face their own difficulties within the mental health world, and providing that support for their staff. So that's why we're here as well, to help support any small to medium businesses that are out there. So if you are an SME and you'd like to find out some more information about Able Futures or how you can start promoting it within your organisation, please feel free to drop me an email. I'd be more than happy to share some free resources with you. I can do presentations as well to your staff, just to make sure that you're getting that support out there. Anybody who's from like a larger organisation as well, so 250 staff members plus, please feel free to go to the website. You can refer any staff. Well, it's all self-referrals, so just direct people to the website, and you can really utilise the Able Futures tool to help your staff get signed up, and with your friends and family as well. Just direct them straight to the website. It is such a quick resource at the click of a button to get. It's all completely free. There really is no catch. I've been on it myself, and it made such a difference to me as well. And I appreciate that's an awful lot of waffle from me. It's a lot of information to take on, but perhaps we can pause the presentation here, and just for the last couple of minutes, if you've got any questions or queries, please feel free to reach out to me, or we've got my email address in the chat. If you'd like to have a more private conversation, I'd be more than happy to do that for you guys also. But thank you so much for listening today. Resilience is not easy. It is definitely not easy, but it's definitely doable. And I think asking for help is a great way to assist your resilience. And just know that we are all human. We all have our peaks and valleys. Life is definitely not perfect. And there are a lot of places that you can go to get support, and a lot of tools that you can learn, so that those valleys, like, you climb out them a lot quicker, and hopefully don't go back into them as well. But yeah, I really appreciate your time. Thank you, everybody. I'll just stop sharing.
Oh, thank you so much for that presentation, Debbie. That was really interesting and lovely to have those celebrities, and thank you for sharing a bit of your story as well. It's always nice to put real life context into it, whether it's a famous person or someone who's experienced it and used the service themselves. So I really appreciate you coming along this afternoon. What I'll do now is I'll stop the recording, so if anyone does want to ask questions, you can ask that without that being recorded. I will post the recording later on onto our YouTube channel, so if you want to watch it again, it will be there for you.